how are we all thinking about investing in our growth? It doesn't always mean that it's dollars, but like your time or support people. Or now, and this speaks kind of to Joe and Tristan more than probably everybody else, is that I'm really starting to understand, rely, and find it to be a really helpful tool I use almost every day is ChatGPT. So like a good example is every so often I'll do, like for Kristen, like for you, I'll review someone's financials. I'm not a CPA, but I'll review their financials to say, yes, it looks reasonable. Yes, things seem to be according to GAAP. It's not the official auditor type of thing, but just a review to give people peace of mind. And I thought, I'd used like some stuff, templates I used before and made up. And then I thought, that takes a lot of time looking through all my stuff, going on the internet and looking at templates. So I just went to ChatGPT and said, write me a template letter. And like in 5 minutes, there it was. And it looked beautiful. Wow. It was great. And I'm like, yeah. And it, it was just, I said how I wanted it. And, it was clear. So, that really worked for me. So I think I'm going to be relying on ChatGPT a lot more. So what does everybody else think? How are you going to be investing in your growth? Any thoughts? Oh, you're on mute, Kristen.
I'm also a fraud examiner. So one of the people I'm networking like crazy because I'm now on my own. And I meet this guy who does digital forensics. And I first bowed down to him. I don't know anything about computers, but he said, you know what my clients need? He handles small businesses. He does all of their IT. He said, I have several that as they grow, they're insecure about delegating their financial role, which I know for you, that's the fractional CFO option.
Correct.
Being a fraud examiner, he said, I could see that you could maybe help them. Well, meanwhile, my husband's an analyst, and I literally do a fraud check for him every month. And I match the day sheets to the bank statement. So I'm learning how to do that for general businesses so that I can help them. Just all you do is you run this test. If you don't see any problem, then we're probably good. So it's a new venture because you may know this as a CPA. You can't say that you opine or that you give value or whatever. So it's going to be an interesting wicket, but I'm trying to at least learn how I can provide them with something that gives them an offsite check on these people that they're trusting with all their money.
Interesting.
Very good.
So you might try to use, do you use ChatGPT?
Yes, I've just started it myself and I was totally fearful of it. I was the worst case on that. And it is amazing. I've tried it on diets. I've tried it on this business idea. I haven't done a template. That's a great idea. So yes, I love Chat. And I can't imagine it's going to be free forever if it's as useful as you and I find it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I did upgrade to 4.0 because it is a little bit more robust. It does allow you a little bit better stuff, which it really wasn't all that much money. But I have to say that I've written a couple of courses, and I have one that most recently is a sort of a DIY type of a course. And so I went into ChatGPT and I had it do some research for me, some statistics and that kind of stuff. I said, okay, what are the top 10 things that we need for this particular program? And it listed it. And so I asked it a couple more questions, having maybe 3 or 4 different separate chats, but same topic. I had it under project, so its own folder. And then I said, can you put together a program that covers all of that? And you know what? It did it.
Wow.
So you might try that.
With program as in what? Not like, an IT program.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's cool. Like, here's where you start. So, in this case, it's for actually obtaining a loan. So there's obviously the top few things that everybody's always going to want. And that's going to be their tax return, their financials, things like that. But then also, you can put in a business plan. I wanted to include a business plan. So I wanted to have it online where people just answered questions. So it could be done really quickly. Because that's the holdup. I think a lot of things like that. People say, oh, yeah, I'm going to fill it out. And then their day gets busy with something else.
Right.
So they have to, they end up taking something that should have taken a week to take like a month. It's like should have never taken that long. And then whoever's trying to help them, the broker with the loans, frustrated because they can't get a hold of them or they're not following up, that kind of thing. So it really guided me through that. And I even asked it for some programming language and it gave it to me.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking. And I had actually said, please look at all my chats and develop the program from my chats. And it did that. 5 minutes. I mean, this whole thing where I researched and did all that, and because I wanted a dashboard and I wanted a way to connect people on their calendar, to put alerts on their calendar. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do this. And it took me, that was in 2 hours. And that was
Wow.
actually after a little presentation that Tristan had done for us in this group. But I thought, oh, I'm going to go ahead and really try to test it.
Wow.
So really go for that. So do you have
That's
any
awesome.
thoughts there, Tristan?
So what's funny about what I do is I generally I have to deal with information that is confidential. As a forensic accountant, I'm doing all bank statements. So when AI first came out, I thought, oh, I can't toss things out there because it makes it public. So I'm having to make sure I walk around AI that isn't giving any confidential. But your idea is genius. I mean, I could ask the very thing I just described to you. I could ask it, tell me what would be a good system. Awesome. Well, you have just helped me a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, because it can give you all those statistics too. So you can say, if then this, and then here's a test that will help you not be in this percentile or to be in that percentile.
Just what I need. I need a test because I'm doing that in my husband's dental practice. And it's a quick thumbnail. I mean, it takes a while, but it's a thumbnail thing, which is what these people need. So awesome.
Right. So you get up with something that then you can wordsmith and put your own personal touch on. So I'm sorry, Tristan, you had something you wanted to share?
I kind of just the 5-minute version. Often because of how awesome ChatGPT is, and you can jump in anywhere where you want to start, and you kind of go with it, and you're like, oh, this is kind of okay. Let's see how much effort I want to put to see if it's good enough, or am I going to just quit and go on? There's a half-an-hour replay that you can sign up for, but if you don't want to waste 30 minutes watching it, I'll give you a 5-minute synopsis. Everything that she said, before you do anything with it, spend 20 minutes putting everything about that thing that you can into one thread. Open it up. Hey, my husband's got this dentist situation. We want to do quizzes. I know this is important. I know we want quizzes like this to happen. I want them to be friendly. I know that there's statistics that are going to matter. Literally talk to it like that. There's a voice to text button on your phone. You can install the app, turn it on, talk to it like that for 20 minutes. Get every feeling. My business partner with autism describes it best. So often people try to use ChatGPT and they describe the drill. Describe the whole. You will get a million times better result if you take your time describing the whole and not the drill bit. But if before that you just give your feelings, opinions, thoughts, persuasions, and what's important into it first, and then you ask it what you want, you've just given it so much context, and you'll be way happier doing it that route. And if you want a longer version, the replay is free. But honestly, people get great results just with that little spiel. Thanks for your time.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure. And Jamie, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was going to say a couple things that I found very useful, kind of building on what Tristan said, is one, a lot of times in ChatGPT, you start with, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to, and then you can kind of chunk it out in multiple pieces. Otherwise, the minute you hit enter, it starts calculating the answer. And then also finish it with, ask me 5 questions regarding additional information that you may need to deliver the result I'm looking for. And then it'll ask you questions. What voice do you want this in? Because I'll use it a lot if I'm in a hurry and I find a quote that I want to put on LinkedIn. And I'll be like, hey, write me a LinkedIn post to support this quote, when you're flying in the morning but need to get something out there. But then you ask me 5 questions. What voice do you want? Do you want a professional tone? Are you trying to sell something? Do you want a call to action? And it'll come back to you with questions to give you additional information. So those are my 2 tips. Start with, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to, because then it'll pause and say, okay, do I have all the information you want before it gives you an answer? And 2, allow it to ask you questions to fill in the blanks that you may have missed.
Terrific.
So if you want really amazing results from AI, and I'm not going to make it a masterclass here, I'll be real brief. I know.
It's okay.
I tried to get 10,000 hours into ChatGPT before anybody else. So as soon as it came out, that's pretty much all I did. Which I will show you guys something that will change your life if you go do it and you do it correctly. So I use ChatGPT. However, this works in pretty much across the board now. There's Google Gems, which are similar. There's also Anthropic's Claude's projects that are similar. That being said, I decided to go with ChatGPT. I mainly use this one. I really, really love it. As you can see, I use it a whole ton. By the way, if you're using a free version and you're not signing in, I highly recommend that you create an account, because on this left side, you've got a full history of all the things that you're talking about. So it's really important to do that. And we are in 4 Omni right now. And we're about to move to 01 as the regular version. And the first quarter here, 03 is going to come out. They're going to skip 02, and that should be very close to AGI. Anyway, back here, there's a thing called custom instructions, and they are the most important thing anybody can do when you're using AI. If you go in there and you tell it about your business, and you tell it about you, and you tell it about how you want to be spoken to, how you want to be communicated to, it will change your life on the fact that if you have it set up programmed to you, it comes out so you can understand it better, so you can execute on those things better. I'll give you some brief, real short ideas. These don't have to be these things. I want to point that out. It's whatever you resonate with. So if you're an authentic person and you know yourself, temet noche, then over here, when you put this stuff in and those things that you resonate with, it will become the language that the machine speaks. So here we've got my Clifton strengths, my achiever, strategic, maximizer, futuristic, and self-assurance, my ENFJ, so that's my Myers-Briggs. One of my favorite ones that really probably a lot of people don't know, but Tristan, my homie over there, he recommended I do it. It's called a crystallizer assessment from EOS, which I find very fascinating. My Enneagram's in here. My human design is in here, probably the most important one of all of them. Of course, my VIA characteristics, because this gives the AI an idea of like how you are. So I'm full of humor, spirituality, gratitude, fairness, and hope. And then last piece, and I will shut up, Ina, the colors here. If you put your colors in, it's mind-blowing, because it will produce things within your color frame. It's really, really wild.